had to use my iPad to do this live because my phone was like dying and it would not charge. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Obviously, there's nothing on the screen because I don't have a stand that can hold up the iPad and not have it completely tip over. So, can you guys hear me okay, first and foremost, before we get into things? Okay, good. So, before we take any questions, I have some things to say first and foremost. Okay. Number one, since some of the ponies or horsies or whatever the hell they call themselves wanted to come over talking shit already, which, by the way, it was always planned to be a subscribers only chat. All of my lives will be that way from now on, just to try to keep the bots out. Has nothing to do with haters, people talking shit. I could care less about that. Number two, if anybody actually ever listened to the entirety of my videos that I've done on this situation, I never said Tori was ever going to be completely exonerated from every single charge. I always said they were going to at least get him on the gun charge. But keep in mind, things can always change, especially when you're dealing with 12 separate people who, have to all come to the same decision. And on top of it, they switched out jurors, had alternates have to come in. So, but at the end of the day, too, I'm not God. So sometimes I'm not going to be 100% right on everything. I was right on the fight. I was right on, that Kelsey was the shooter. I stand by that. I stand by that Tori may have let off a couple shots, but he is not the one that shot anything that ended up injuring Meghan. And at the end of the day, and let me just clarify this too. When I said nobody ever said she was shot, because people wanted to come in talking about that on one of the videos that I said, I meant nobody is in me. It's how I speak. I'm not going to sit here and talk for every single person that's been reporting on this, nor do I know what every single person that's been covering this case has been saying, especially for the 3 years that we've been going through this. Because people were trying to be, well, academics said. I don't know what academics said. I literally only just started watching academics this week for his coverage because he was streaming with Millie and I couldn't leave Instagram open on my phone the way that I can play YouTube in the background while I do other things. So I've always, listen, I don't hate Meghan, nor am I a Tory stan either. But I also don't believe that men should just go to jail because somebody accused them of something if they didn't do it. I'm always going to stand by what's the side of the truth. And if Spirit says this person didn't do what they're being accused of, then that's what I'm going to stand on. I didn't even know who the fuck Tory Lanez was until 2 weeks before this situation happened. Anybody that was on Station Head with me remembers that because I was talking about I like Chris Brown and his music, and I was saying I wish more people made music like Chris Brown, and everybody told me go listen to Tory Lanez, and then literally 2 weeks later, this whole situation happened. So I do have sympathy for Meghan that she was hurt. Nobody deserves to be shot or shot at. But I also have a lot of sympathy for Tori because, like I said, in my heart, psychically and just as a human being, I do not believe that he did this. And on top of it, it's 2 days before Christmas. He got remanded immediately. He gets sentenced at the end of January. He doesn't even get to spend the holidays with his son. And that's what, I saw his dad breaking down. That made me start crying. There's a little boy who's going to not have his dad. His dad's in the system. And the thing is, for everybody that just wanted to go and shit on Tory and automatically say he did this, he did that, this is the thing that we also need to remember in these situations. Look at how many men have been released from jail because that were serving life sentences or these long sentences, and then it turns out updated DNA testing, the appeal and getting a new trial, whatever it was, exonerates them. The Central Park Five, Emmett Till, Johnny Depp even is the most recent one who was accused of something that he didn't do. There's still space for the Kenny Pettys and the Tory Lanez to be innocent too. And the thing is, in this case too, there was no factual evidence that really said Tory did this at all. They were just going off of people's statements that changed a bazillion times. The one and only person that didn't have any bias, benefit, reason to lie in this situation, the Sean Kelly dude, said a woman had the gun first and shot it off, and that he only saw Tory shoot in the air. That's where it's just like, what the actual fuck? How do y'all go to sleep tonight knowing that you convicted somebody and now they're going to face 22 years away from their child, be deported off of people's stories that kept changing? So there's no justice in this situation because the wrong person is the one that got convicted. So Kelsey definitely needed to get charged. She's the one that shot him, not Tori. I mean, that shot her, not Tori. So trust and believe, though, Tori's obviously definitely going to file an appeal in this case. They should have done a mistrial and gave them the opportunity to come back and do the trial all over again. Because Justin showed up today to court, finally. As the jury's already in deliberations, he conveniently, went and hid until it was too late for him to testify. And, the thing is, honestly, it's like I was just thinking about this, like, they should have definitely have Artemis, you really think that justice was served in this case? They definitely should have let, what was his face, Quan. They should have just dragged this out until next week and let Quan testify. So, and part of the reason why my phone is dying was because obviously, like, listen, I was listening to academics all day long because he was live streaming, with all the stuff that was going on. And I sat there and listened to this man eat his damn chicken wings. um, so, anyways, because I had to go to the dentist and I had to run errands and do all kinds of stuff. So, anyways, though, he was saying in the stream earlier when I was listening at the store that I guess people were saying that while Meghan was testifying, supposedly the Roc Nation representatives, this is alleged, this was, just an academic said it was alleged too, but we're just gonna, extra cover our butts anyways. But supposedly, because he was talking about like how Meghan had Roc Nation representatives in the court the whole time. Supposedly, while she was testifying, they were making notes and passing them to her fucking lawyers. And the thing that I was saying to somebody the other day, maybe it was on my Patreon live, I can't remember because obviously everybody's been talking about this case the whole week. The fact that the Desiree Perez from Roc Nation was on the phone call when Meghan was being interviewed by the detectives when she finally admitted that she'd been shot, and they were trying to get the story out of her that what happened, and they said her lawyers and Roc Nation representatives were on the phone. Why? It makes sense that your lawyer would be on the phone with you if you're having a call with the police about a crime that was committed. Like, yeah, duh. I mean, everybody's going to tell you to have your lawyer in on that. But why does your management team for your music career need to also be on the phone with that? And you're going to tell me that there's been no interference whatsoever, just like it makes no sense that supposedly Tori was bribing everybody. But he got his fucking car repoed and his condo foreclosed on, and he got evicted out of another place that he was renting just last year, and everybody was clowning him for that. Oh, he's broke. Oh, wasn't he saying that he made money off his CD because he's independent? He's a bitch, blah, 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 blah. But now he has millions of dollars to be bribing people, and multiple people at that he supposedly bribed Justin, bribed Kelsey, bribed Meghan, bribed Jaquan. I seen people saying that he paid off EJ. I'm like, so Tori just had $10 million laying around to be given out to people, but he couldn't even pay his rent or his car note. Like, come on. But he's an independent artist on top of this. He doesn't have this big old team of people who are known for being shady in the industry in the first place behind him to be threatening people, to be scaring people, to be bribing people. But Meghan sure does. Nobody's making money off of Tori except for Tori. So who the fuck has a vested interest in making Tori's cases go away? Nobody. But guess who does have a huge investment in Meghan? The people who were sitting in court passing notes to the lawyers, who were on her phone calls with the police. And if you guys know anything about the Illuminati, because that shit's real, Tori was another one of Meghan's industry sacrifices so that she could get ahead. But guess what? Her career is still going to struggle after this, because this is the thing, too. There is a real, beyond the Tory stuff, because I know she was trying to blame all of the, like, people don't want to fuck with me in the industry stuff on Tori. Tori didn't have anything to do with you being shady to Nicki Minaj. Tori didn't have nothing to do with you falling out with all the other people that you fell out with. Maybe it's the fact that you move funny and you change friends like people change their panties that makes people not want to deal with you. Yeah, hooking up with all your friends' boyfriends too would also be a reason why people don't want to have you around. And that's why I've said it a million times. These new people in the industry, they don't think it's just, oh, who can I attach my name to next so that way it can benefit my career? And the entitlement of, oh my God, just because I got signed, now I'm owed a feature by Nicki Minaj, Drake, Lil Wayne, whoever the fuck I decide I want to collab with, and then throw a temper tantrum because they haven't collabed with you yet and they did a song with somebody else. They don't think about the fact that you go fuck over people, and even if the other people don't even like that person, they're still peeping, you move funny, and I don't want to fuck with you because I'm going to be the next person that you turn on. So, I'm just going to pull cards generally and see what Spirit has to say about this situation first and foremost, and then we will get to some questions. And I hope y'all had a good week. But, and that's the thing too, 22 years for, regardless, you know, if it was just an accident, that's a hell of a long time for somebody that picked up shrapnel in their foot. Because that's what bullet fragments are. It's shrapnel. It's not somebody actually, you know, aimed at you and shot you in the heart and you just miraculously survived. It's shrapnel. You would have still lived regardless. So, you know, and this is the thing. It's, again, there was no real freaking evidence. This was just a bunch of he said, she said, and everybody that said she said ended up changing what they said in the, you know, in the end anyways. That's what, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, there's a little boy who now isn't going to have his dad. And that's what just makes me really sad. Because, like I said, I'm not a Tory fan. I mean, everybody knows if you're going to call me a fan of anybody, it's Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Biggie, Tupac, and Kanye West. So, those are the people I listen to all the time. Those are the people that, you know, I would call myself, but I don't even call myself a fan of anybody anyways. It's just I like their music. And I also like who they are as people. But okay, there was definitely jury interference and threats that were made to people. Even if it wasn't outright threats, like, we're going to kill you if you don't say XYZ thing. The thing that Spirit keeps saying is, it was inferred of the, everybody's going to know who you are, right? The jurors are going to get identified. People are going to be really disappointed because they had a vested interest in seeing justice happen in this case. As in, look you're going to get harassed and threatened and mauled by rabid fans and people who are going to be pissed off at you because you didn't take this woman's side. And then, of course, the sympathy stories that started weighing on people. It was definitely, though, a hung jury. That's why it took so long, because there were people that were definitely holding out and didn't feel comfortable making this decision to, say, yes, this man's guilty, but they felt pressured to do so. There's also money involved in this, too. Number one, Justin got paid to go hide and not get up on the stand and tell his story, because he was going to get up there and admit that he did have a relationship with Meghan as well. Number two, he did not want to get up there and say, yes, Tori told me that he shot her, the way that, they were trying to play it out. And the thing that was, it was like, okay, then. Because this is the thing that Spirit's saying. If he got up there and admitted that he slept with his client and that he then lied to the police about that situation, he doesn't have a career in security anymore. On top of it, even if he did keep with that story that, oh, yeah, Tori did say that he, shot Meghan, you didn't leave and call the police, and you didn't beat him up. Which is what, again, anybody that's a high profile person is going to be like, do I trust you to protect me? If people are admitting that they committed a crime against me to you and you didn't do anything about it? Or do I trust you to protect me and my family, and you're going to fuck my wife when I'm not there and then lie to the police about something that happened? Either way, he looks bad. And it affects his career. And he had a guilty conscience and didn't want to go up there and lie and put somebody away for something they didn't do, but he also didn't want to expose himself. So Roc Nation paid him to go hide, because isn't it convenient that all of a sudden he shows up on the last day when the jury's already deliberating and they can't take your statement anymore anyways? So there was definitely jury interference and inferred threats. And it wasn't just the jury, it was with witnesses. It was with a lot of stuff. And Tori was not the person that was bribing people. It was Roc Nation. Whitney's pissed too. Listen, Whitney hates fuckboys more than anything, and she hates people that lie. She's like me. She's always got something to say, because she's like, screw this bullshit. She didn't like Quavo very much either last time when we were reading on them. So every time we talked about him, she was getting feisty in the background. But exactly. So, okay, let me see. I'm going to ask if Meghan and Kelsey had a relationship with each other, and then I'll take your guys' questions. But did Meghan and Kelsey have a relationship with one another as well? Okay. And the Spirit said Tori's definitely going to appeal. I'll ask how the appeal will go to in a second. Not like they were dating each other, but did they scissor each other when they got drunk or maybe have a couple threesomes in the past? Yes. So it was just, like, oh, we get drunk, we have fun. In the past, when they were like in college and stuff, there was a couple like threesomes and things like that happened, but they were never like girlfriend and girlfriends. And Spirit saying like Kelsey on her end, it was more like, experimenting kind of thing. Honestly, I'll tell you guys this. I've always felt like at some point Meghan's going to be more of a lesbian than just bisexual, or at least, I don't know if you would say like a lesbian instead of bisexual. Make sure you guys are liking the live, by the way. We have 112 people in here and only 28 likes. I'll take questions when we get up to 50 likes, so start liking the live if you want me to answer questions. But I've just always felt like we're going to end up seeing, like, even if she hides it, I feel like her preference is more women anyways. So, yeah. Okay, so let me see. What's going to happen with Tori's appeal? Thank you. See, the problem with the appeal is even getting them to give you the appeal in the first place. It's not so much the actual going back to court and having another trial. It's the even getting them to approve that you can have another trial that's usually the biggest obstacle. Make sure you guys are liking it. I hate having to beg, but the YouTube algorithm, which I didn't know this either, guys, but even how it is when you're sub to people and you don't see their videos. Apparently, if you're not liking the videos that you're watching, then the YouTube algorithm thinks like, oh, you're just one of those ghost subs that only watches that channel sometimes. But if you like the videos, then they'll recommend them to you more and actually tell you when somebody posts. So you will get much more content from me next year. Also, in the pinned comment is the link to my second channel. We're going to be all about self-improvement, self-love, spiritual tips, all kinds of different content that just, is really stuff that I love to do, but doesn't belong in my Patreon or on here. So I made a second channel for that, and posts will be coming the first week of January. And then at the end of this live, I'm going to put a link to another channel I want you guys to follow, and I'll put it on my community tab. I'm going to have Dario De Niro on here next week with me on live. He's my financial advisor, so he's going to be launching his own channel as well, which I'm excited about. But we're going to talk about the recession that's coming and what we all need to do to prepare for it. And then he's going to help me. Well, he's not psychic. Like, he's going to help me do readings, but he's going to stay on the live and ask me some questions and stuff. And we'll do, psychic readings in the second half of it on, whatever celebrity bullshit has popped off that week. So that'll be next Friday's live. Alrighty. So Tori's definitely going to get his appeal and he'll win that because it's going to take him a while to get the appeal, though. Spirit saying it'll be next year before he actually gets the ball rolling on it, like this time next year. But before they even like approve it is what I mean, like October-ish, maybe December. But he will get an appeal, he will get a new trial, and he will win that. And that'll be much easier to win because number one, they'll actually have everybody's story straight. They'll actually have to produce some real evidence. They'll actually have Quan and Justin and other people, as witnesses to come in. So he'll have a much better chance then. Spirit saying, and again, Spirit saying, if they would have just waited the week, Tori would have ended up winning this anyways. It's that he shouldn't have listened and he should have just let everybody come in. And honestly, even though it's not usually a good idea for a defendant to take the stand and answer questions, especially because they were going to try to absolutely just like slander him and his character and all of that. If Tori would have taken the stand and told his side of what happened that night, despite anything else that, the prosecution would have brought up about him, again, it would have triggered a mistrial just because it would have been like everybody has a different story and we don't know who to believe in this case. So at least that would have forced them to have to give him a new trial. And if there had been a mistrial, Spirit saying they wouldn't have tried to, the state of California wouldn't have tried him again. They would have just dropped it because they knew that they fucked up and they didn't want to have to go through this again. So he's definitely got to get him some new lawyers too. And this is the thing too. If he would have kept Sean Hawley, he would have won this case. She's a really good lawyer. The problem is she dropped off of it just because originally Kelsey had made those claims that Sean, guided Tori to say certain things, and then she's got other like cases that were going on, and that's why things had to keep getting delayed. Because I know everybody kept being like, see, Tori's guilty, he keeps delaying this. It wasn't that. It's that his lawyer was in the middle of the Danny Masterson trial, which that's one that you would have thought, like, okay, damn, like, he probably is going to get into some real trouble, and he actually got off on that. She got him a mistrial. They didn't call any witnesses in his case or specialists or anything. So, well, Tori has to wait he's in jail now, babe. Dragonfly. So he gets sentenced on January 27th is what is what Lawyers for Workers was saying right before I got on live. I saw his post updating saying that Tori got remanded. They took him into custody immediately because he's been out on bail for this. And so he's going to be, basically held in jail until the sentencing. And then, of course, when you get sentenced, sometimes they'll let you out for a few weeks so you can get your affairs together. Sometimes, though, they don't if they think you're a flight risk or something like that. So that's really going to depend on how hard the state wants to go on him at that point. Because Spirit's saying it's really up in the air right now if they'll let him have those couple weeks to get his shit together or not. So no, Bubbles, he's not going to do the whole 22 years before he can do another trial or appeal. I just said that it'll take probably a year for his appeal to get approved, but it will get approved. So, and then, the case will take what, 2 weeks, like they usually do. So, but he's gonna spend a good year away at least before we get to that point. I don't get that they're gonna give him the whole 22 years. I think they're gonna give him 7 to 10 with the, and then he'll get out on good behavior or some shit like that at probably 5 years, and then they'll deport him. So, all right, guys, if you want to put a question up, put question in front of it. Well, at least Tori's from Canada, so he's not getting deported to like Iraq or Afghanistan where there's an active war, or Ukraine, or, somewhere that's a third world war-torn country. I mean, he'll be in Canada at least, but it's just, again, the thing that sucks is that his kid lives in LA. So, and just a reminder, guys, if you want to become a client, you still got to book before the end of the month, because I'm not going to be taking new clients next year. And you can use code WINTER, all in caps, at checkout for $15 off any appointment. PsychicBellaLove.com. It's also in the pinned comments. Okay, hold the questions so I can look through these ones and answer them first. And if you want to make sure your question gets answered, you can always super chat, but make sure you put question in front of it so I know it's a question. Okay, hold on. I'm not going to answer these in order just because some of them will get lumped together. Why is Roc Nation doing this to Tori? Okay. Do you guys remember, number one, that Tori, when he went independent, he said, make sure you guys like the chat and hold the questions, and I'll take more in a moment. Let me get through these ones first. So, or like the video, I mean. Okay, so remember, I don't know if you guys remember this. Tory said he was going to expose the entire industry and all of the labels after he got his master's back and went independent. Anytime, if you guys haven't noticed, that somebody starts threatening to expose the industry, they have a mental breakdown. They OD, and then they have to go to rehab, and then they come out with bleach blonde hair and start acting weird. They die, or they get caught up in a mountain of legal trouble. And I'm not going to talk too much about the Illuminati stuff on here. If you want to know more, you can join my Patreon, because it's just not safe to talk about on here between censorship and my own personal safety. So, anyways, that was a big part of the motivation for the industry to throw him under the bus when this happened. The flip side of it, too, is, remember when everything happened between Chris Brown and Rihanna? He lost everything, and we're not saying, oh, Chris Brown didn't do anything wrong that night. I'm just saying, look at how Rihanna's career blew up after that. And who's her management team? Roc Nation. So think about this, okay? This whole situation happens. Their artist gets injured. From a management perspective, are they looking at it like, you know what? We can spin this So, well, if it's two girls got in a fight because somebody slept with somebody's boyfriend and then got mad because said boyfriend tried to hook up with another girl whose party they were at, and then out of jealousy and revenge, they get in a fight, and the one who's smaller gets a gun out and shoots the other one. No, that just makes Meghan look horrible. Not that it doesn't make Kelsey look bad, but it also doesn't make Meghan look good either. And so many people would be like, oh my God, Meghan's a horrible person because look at what she did. And there would be the people that said, well, she deserved it, or look how much bigger she is than Kelsey. And so Kelsey thought, that the only way she could defend herself from Meghan, who's twice her size, beating her up was to shoot at her. There's too much room for that to have ruined everything that they were building with Meghan and keep riding the wave that she was on. But if she's a victim of domestic violence from a man, then all of a sudden it's the sympathy. It's the, oh my God, everybody's going to go support Meghan because it's pulling on our heartstrings. All the women who've ever, dealt with an angry man that may have hurt them in one way or another are going to sympathize with her. And they were thinking, here's our second Rihanna. So we're going to spin the story this way. There's a reason why the night that this happened, she didn't say, Tori shot me or Tori did anything to me. And it had nothing to do with George Floyd or stepping on glass or anything else. It's because she really didn't know what happened. They told her, you're going to say that Tori did it. This is how we're going to spin it. And Desiree Perez was the one on the phone while she was talking to the police because she was sitting there being like, okay, Meghan, do it how we rehearsed, and making sure that she got the same story that they told her to say out on the phone with the cops. So this is what they tried to do, because, and if you look at the cover for her, what was it? Good News? Is that the album that she put out right after that happened, or her real first album or whatever? And then look at Rihanna's album cover after her Chris Brown situation. It was a copy paste. Even a lot of the videos were styled similarly and all of that too. So that's why they did it to Tori. Okay, so let's see. All right, I'm going to ask how Kelsey, Meghan, and then other industry artists feel about this, and then I'll ask about what's going to happen with her career next. So hold on a second. Hey, Kodak. And by the way, shout out to Milagro and Lawyer for Workers. And those were the two, and then academics, that I was just keeping up with, who were providing all the coverage this week. But really, shout out to Millie and Mo, because, they had to leave their families behind and stay in a hotel all week and, spend all day running to court and not being able to do the other things that they would normally be doing, like their own jobs. And so I know people were, trying to drag Mo for doing subscription content on his Instagram, but it's like, dude paid out of his pocket to go take off from his other job that I'm sure pays him way more to go do this and put himself up in a hotel, had to pay for flights. Same thing with Millie. So nobody should be dragging them that they're charging for any content or that they're, getting donations or anything. And also shout out to Academics because he's been on lives. I mean, I know this is what he does all the time anyways, but he's been live streaming for hours every day, and I wouldn't have been able to keep up with everything that was going on if I couldn't just easily hop into his live in between calls and things that I had to do to update myself. So I appreciate everybody that put in the hard work to cover all this stuff and keep us updated. So I just wanted to show my appreciation to them for all of that. Does not mean I agree with Academics all the time or everything that he says. Let's get that clear. I'm just saying he was a good resource to be able to keep up with everything. So let's see. Which honestly, I don't even know what most of his content is usually. It's like, isn't it like bro stuff and like the Chicago and underground rapper beefs or something like that, or at least that's what I thought it was. It's nothing that I would usually probably typically be watching him for. But he does do good interviews sometimes. I do watch his interviews every once in a while. So listen, there's a lot of people in the industry that, number one, they are not siding with Meghan, even if they're publicly saying congratulations to her for getting justice or whatever. Like, remember this: a lot of these people have to depend on, going with the grain, so to speak, and the popular opinion because they don't want to get canceled. Because I saw, like Moniece and a couple other people did say, like, this is a travesty, and I feel horrible for Tori's son, and, this isn't right that Tori's an innocent person that's going to jail behind this. And they got dragged for filth. Moniece doesn't give a fuck about what anybody has to say about her, so but when it comes to bigger artists or people who maybe, are trying to get their career going and stuff, of course, they're the ones that are going to be like, oh, shit, I have to say something inside with Meghan even if I don't like feel like it. And also Spirit saying a lot of them got the dog whistle, so to speak, pushed by their managers, their agents, their labels. You better show support for her right now. It's a good look. Because again, nobody's making money off of Tori, so there's no incentive to go back Tori. But there's a lot of people, especially people who are big enough that they can put their foot down and be like, maybe I'm not going to say anything or I'm not going to show my support. But I also, like, if my label comes to me and says, hey, we got this song, or Meghan wants you to get on her song, they're going to be like, no, thank you. So people are definitely going to be very guarded around her, which they should be, because it's like, you accuse people of shit they didn't do. I don't want to take that chance. So, there's that part of things. Also, her career is still going to take a hit off of this. There's way too many people, like, public opinion wise. I mean, number one, none of her music has been like popping so far, right? Over the last couple years. Like, this whole situation did not do her any favors. It's still not going to. She's still not going to end up all of a sudden being the most popular artist. She's not going to get the Rihanna glow up. There's too many people in the mass public who are just done with her after this. Even if they feel like okay, Tori did do that, it's still like, yeah, but I think that she's a shitty person and I just don't want to support her because, she fucked her friend's man, she did this, she did that. So she's not going to see this huge, career thing from this. It'll be struggle bus in it. Where she was at before we got to the trial is where she's going to pretty much stay. So, and she's not going to win in her trial with Carl. So, there's a little bit of that karma coming her way too. Like, Carl's the one that's gonna come out the victor in like the legal situations that they have going on. Because at the end of the day, there's a contract, you're not fulfilling it. And like I've always said when it came to this, if Roc Nation 100% truly believed in this girl, they would have bought her out of her contract with Carl. He's a businessman. You think that they couldn't go and be like, hey, we're going to give you $10 million, let her out of the contract, we'll give you a couple other artists or tell you about some other things that you can do? No, they've never done that. They've never tried to like run in to like take over her career completely like that because they don't really fully believe in her either. It was more, we'll see how things go. So, and don't forget too, guys, a lot of these shady labels will purposely keep your ass constantly locked up in all these damn legal problems on purpose, provide you with their $500 an hour PR people and $750 an hour attorneys, and then stick that on your back end of money that you owe them so that you are forever indebted to them. Look at what happened in Tupac with Death Row. Yeah, we'll bail you out of jail and give you a lawyer, but you're going to have to give us how many records, how many albums, So it's like he was under like multiple contracts that people forget about. They think that like Death Row Records was his label. They were a secondary label to him because his own real label didn't want to help him, and Suge Knight came in and said, I'll help you, but you got to do this for me. So that's why, for so many years after Tupac passed away, we were able to keep getting so much music from him because he had all this unreleased music from his original record label, which I forget who his record label was at this moment. It might have been Atlantic. And also that he had recorded to try to fulfill his contract with Death Row, and then he passed away before all those albums got to be put together and released. And on top of it, most artists usually record a minimum of 50 songs per album, and that's like on the low end. And then they choose the 13 to 15 that actually end up on the album based off of what the label says. These are the ones we want you to put on there. So let's see. How is Kelsey feeling about everything? Thank you, Spirit. And also, once again, just in case anybody had a question about that, while I'm asking about Kelsey, just because Spirit wanted to remind me to say it, Tori was not making apology texts and phone calls because it's, oh, I'm so sorry I shot you. It was, I'm so sorry that I slept with both of y'all, got y'all to fight with each other, and then told all the business that was going on because, it was me that was acting a fool that did all this stupid stuff that led you guys to go act this way. But he wasn't admitting guilt to shooting them. It was more like, sorry for being a fuckboy and, dogging you both out like that. I shouldn't have been playing both sides, and then I shouldn't have been trying to hook up with Kylie right in front of you. Kelsey feels really, really, really bad for Tori. She really thought that, her getting up on the stand and just saying a bunch of I don't knows was gonna cause a mistrial. She didn't think, she really thought, number one, I was scared, and so I just kept my mouth shut and I let Meghan handle everything. And I didn't know that, her solution was to blame Tori. I thought they were gonna, say it was an accident and the gun fell out of the car or something. That's really how Kelsey originally thought things were gonna go down in the beginning. Then it was like, fuck, because if I go tell the truth, I'm the one that's gonna go to jail. That's, I hate to say this, but that's the reason, not that Kelsey was never going to have a child someday anyways, but that's the reason why she made sure to go have, the baby when she did, because it was like, just in case. They'll take sympathy on me as a new mom and be like, oh, we don't want to separate a mom and her baby, or at least not forever. And she thought, at least that way, if they do try to convict me for something, maybe I get a few months or probation or house arrest. But she's really feeling horrible that it went this far and that now Tori's going to go down for so long behind all of this. But the thing is, Kelsey is weak. She's not going to come out and be like, I'm going to go do the right thing and go turn myself in and tell the DA, no, you have the wrong person. She'll come out and say better shit in the appeal. She'll give a better story, but she's still going to dance around things because she, again, doesn't want to be the person that's held accountable. So but it does break her heart that everything ended up in the way that it did. She's forever going to hate Meghan, though. Like, that's never going to change. But, yeah, she's never going to come out and say, like, oh, my God, I feel so bad about this. And if y'all were wondering, Meghan has absolutely no remorse. She's sitting there trying to craft her statement to put out if she hasn't already, because obviously I've been on live, so I haven't seen if she's released anything or not. But she's more like, oh, what are me and Roc Nation going to do next? And, trying to figure out what's the right thing to say. How much am I going to benefit off of this? And then getting ready for court with Carl. So, which, when do they have court? Okay. I was like, I'm looking right now to just, I took my phone off airplane mode so I wanted to see if Meghan released the statement, and 9 minutes ago the Shade Room posted that Tori's lawyer said, we are shocked by the verdict. There was not sufficient evidence to convict Mr. Peterson. Duh. We believe this case was not proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Duh. We will be exploring all options, including an appeal. Damn right you should. So, aww. The Tory 6-year-old son started crying in the front row after his grandfather was ushered out. Tori was looking at the child and patted his chest to reassure him. That's so sad. Ugh. That's so damn sad. That poor baby. Okay, so get those likes up, guys. There's 141 people in here. We should have 141 likes. Alrighty, let's see. Let me. Saying I saw that somebody in court said that Jay-Z is a bitch. I mean, and this is the thing. I got kind of scared. I don't know if you guys saw the footage of Tori's dad screaming outside the courtroom. And again, shout out to Millie because I saw that she was standing behind him holding on to the kids. But I felt so bad for him, but then he was like legit like, this is your fault, Alex Spiro. This is your fault, Desiree Perez, Jay-Z, Roc Nation. Like the way that he was just going off on people's memes, I was like, oh shit. Like, I hope Tori's dad's safe because that was really, really like, I mean, good for him for saying something, but then on the flip side of it, you're calling out very dangerous people. So, which, by the way, everything that we're saying in here is entertainment purposes, only all alleged. We're just telling ghost stories with my tarot cards that have pretty little pictures on them. So, let's see. I'll ask the cards how Tori's feeling about this in a second. Hey, the healing zone. Don't worry about it, babe. I didn't even see what you said. I was like, there's so many comments, and I was trying to catch up on them. You know what, Toke? I think they're doing commercials during lives now if you're monetized. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't ever see the commercials, but my kid was watching the live and he was signed in on a different account and it was doing commercials during the middle of the live for him too. Okay, let me see how Tori feels and then we'll take some more questions. And you can go ahead and put more questions up. Make sure you put question in front of it. And if you want to make sure I see it, you can send a super chat or a super sticker. Because sometimes it's hard to see everything when there's so many comments. And then we'll take a look at Pardi stuff. So, and Hannah, Tori will be able to afford his legal fees because Spirit said there was something about the, what do you call, agreement that he had with his lawyer that if he didn't win, then they would have to like cover him for the appeal or something. So, but he does have a little bit of money put up, to cover certain stuff. It's just obviously having to fight this case took a big chunk of his money because he lost a lot of endorsements. He couldn't tour. He couldn't do a lot of things. And I'm just going to say this too. They should have freaking just, they should have put a gag order on everybody from the start, not just Tori, and just made everybody wait until they went to court before they were allowed to say anything and only talk after the verdict, and the court case was done. Because onions, all this. He dry shot me for no reason, and then busting back songs and all the other shit that's happened it didn't help anybody's side with anything, especially with the court of public opinion. The Gayle King interviews, and then that stuff obviously got used against them a bit in court, but when they go do the appeal, that's going to be a huge thing that they're going to use against Kelsey and Meghan to get this overturned, is all the stuff that they did online. So that's why it would have just been smart if they all just shut the fuck up and didn't talk about any of it online at all, regardless of which side they were on, and just let it play out in the court system. Because then at least you don't have all the speculation coming back to bite you in the butt later. Okay. Tori's honestly really shocked. Because number one, he really knows, what he did and didn't do in this situation. He was really hoping that people were going to see the truth and, stand on the truth. And so they were really, really hoping, he was really hoping that he would get his justice, but he still believes that, he's going to be able to go get his appeal and get this overturned. I do see, that he is hoping that his fans stream his music a bunch, so that way he still has an income coming in while he's locked up. You guys, I wouldn't be surprised, because this is something crazy. There might be a girl pregnant by him right now that we haven't heard that she's pregnant with his baby. Because the secret pregnancy card came up of somebody is having this man's baby, and he really thought, like, we're going to put all of this behind us. I'm going to, be with this girl. I'm going to, my career is going to go good. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to be happy. So and it's we just found out. We just found out. It's not showing yet, found out. So it's not Iggy, you guys. It's not Iggy. Spirit said it's a brown girl. She's either mixed race or she's Dominican or Hispanic. Because she's a light-skinned brown girl. It's not anybody that's really famous. It's not anybody that we would be able to be oh, I know her. But it's somebody that he's been spending a lot of time with while he was preparing for this. Him and Iggy were cool, but they weren't dating like that. They were just hanging out, making music, flirting, but I don't feel like they were even sexing each other or having a relationship. It's not Melly. It's nobody that's known. So he was really looking, though, to get out, and start his life over and just move on with things and be in a better place. And he had made this whole pact with himself that he wasn't going to, mess around with a bunch of girls anymore, get in fights with people, nothing. It was I'm going to put this behind me and have a whole clean, fresh start. It's just family, music, my fans, no extra noise, no BS, no drama. So, yeah, it's somebody that looks like Melly, but Spirit's saying it's not her either. It's nobody that we've ever seen him with, because it's something that Spirit's saying he's been on and off with this girl in the past, but they've just gotten together for good more recently. So he'll win the appeal, though. Let's see. Sammy, I answered all of that in the beginning of this live if you want to go back. Okay, hang on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I had to grab my other water because I drank the other one. I was like, my throat is getting so dry in my mouth because I was at the dentist getting x-rays and a consultation, and my teeth cleaned, and then I haven't drank a whole lot of water today, and now I've been talking all day. I went through my first glass of water that I brought over. I had to grab more. Okay. All right. I'm just going to take 2 more questions, and then we're going to move on to Meghan and Pardi's relationship. And then we'll get to Young Miami and Diddy, because I do have to call a client still, so and just a reminder, if anybody wants to book their own reading, psychicbellolove.com, use code WINTER, all in caps, for $15 off. I will not be taking clients, new clients next year, so if you are not a client by the 31st of this month, then you'll have to join the wait list to become one. Also, my Patreons, a reminder to you guys that your extra special discount code expires in 6 hours. And make sure that you look at the pinned comment to join my Patreon, where we talk about history, the Illuminati, all kinds of stuff, and follow my second channel that we will be posting on come the beginning of January. I post in the Patreon every day except for Sundays, and that's the only place that I do mediumship readings on celebrities anymore, and at the higher tier, the only place that I do requested videos. Okay, so we're just gonna see like how Roc Nation is feeling about all this. They were really worried about how this trial was gonna turn out. They thought not going in their favor. So it was like we really had to get involved to play a lot of games between manipulation, magic tricks, money, threats, insinuations, all kinds of stuff to get this to work out in our favor. But now they're pleased that they got what they wanted out of this situation. I mean, they definitely do. Everybody in the industry does spiritual work, but Jay-Z was heavy doing spiritual work around this whole situation to make sure that it worked out the way that he wanted it to, because he's definitely, he always shows up in my readings as the emperor, and there's the literal magician card right behind him. So, and then the Ace of Pentacles on the other side of it. So there was definite game playing, but he's happy that things worked out. the way that he intended. So he, for whatever reason, too, does not believe that the court system is going to give Tory another trial or allow him to appeal because his readers and magicians and people that he works with told him that. So, but Spirit said he's got another thing coming to him. Let me see. He's still going to. Jay-Z has never had a problem ruining anybody's damn life or taking it. That man has no fucking morals. And that's why when people are like, but Beyonce's good, I'm like, why the F would y'all think that she's this innocent little just perfect thing when she's married to one of the most sick, disgusting, evil people in Hollywood? I mean, the fact that Spirit told me that Diddy has more of a moral compass and conscience than Jay-Z should tell you everything you need to know, because we all know that Diddy ain't shit. So it's like, yeah, Tupac warned everybody. I mean, if you read, this is what I've always told people too. Go read Valletta Wallace's book about how everything went down after her son passed away. She wasn't blaming Diddy for things being stolen or the way that things really got fucked up, like around his estate afterwards. She was blaming Jay-Z. So they're not great people. I mean, none of these people in the industry are really. That's why, I always tell y'all, Southsidal worship in the Bible was worshiping statues. In real life, it's worshiping celebrities. That's the real reason why I do a lot of these damn readings, is to show you that these people ain't shit when it comes down to it. They're in a very evil industry, and it's all, every man out for himself kind of a thing. And there's a reason why the music that is geared toward and pushed on to the Black community glorifies violence, drugs, sex, and not good things. So it's because it's planned out. And if you look it up, a lot of these people that run, old white men that run these labels, also have a heavy vested monetary interest in the private prison industry. So they're encouraging things like this, because then when y'all think that you're fucking Young Thug Jr. and you're going to go start your own gang and shoot people up and do all kinds of stupid shit because you heard about it in music and got influenced by it, then guess what? They're benefiting off of you being locked up in those prisons. They got to ruin another Black family. So, and, music will definitely influence your energy. Haven't y'all ever noticed that if you're having a bad day, or you're just having one of those days where you just are like, I don't have any energy, I don't feel like I slept that good, but then you listen to your favorite song and then you're suddenly like, okay, I can go to work now. But if you're crying, or you're like, again, in one of those moods where you're like, I don't know how I feel, and then you listen to a bunch of breakup songs, you start feeling sad. I mean, if I listen to a bunch of sad songs, I could be completely fine. And then I'm sitting there crying like I fucking broke up with somebody and I'm single. And I don't have nobody to break up with. So it's because, it really influences your energy. And so and there's a real reason. And Kanye explains this in the Drink Champs interview that unfortunately got taken down, because he was talking about how even the 808s have been manipulated into a dun 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 down beat to lower your vibration. And then when you're listening, go shoot them up, go take drugs, go kill somebody, go fuck everybody that you see, you're more easily influenced by that. There's a reason why songs are structured the way that they are with repeating verses and lyrics. It becomes a chant. When you are chanting something, you are manifesting it. That's why we chant and repeat the same things when we're doing a candle spell, when you're doing manifestation work, when you're saying your affirmations to yourself for healing. So everything can be used for good or bad, it's the intention behind it, but that's why it's really important that you pay attention to the things that you're listening to. And let me tell you something too, guys. Your TVs are portals, if you didn't know that. It's not just mirrors that are portals. TVs are too. There's a reason why it's called television. They're telling you lies through the things they show you. They're influencing you with stuff like that. So that's why it's so important that the things you watch, the things you listen to are good things. The lady that mentored me, and even her grandkids used to think she was like freaking crazy. Oh, she's just being superstitious because she's Siberian and this and that. And she was Siberian and Yugoslavian. Because she would say, don't watch like paranormal movies in your house. Like, she didn't think you should watch them at all, but especially in the house, because she's like, you're opening the portal, like you're watching, say, for instance, paranormal activity. You're opening the portal by watching the TV, you're inviting it in, you're believing it, you're entertaining it, so it's easy for those spirits, that energy, to attach itself to you. So just be very careful. And let me tell you the same thing with porn, too. I know people hate to hear that. I'm not being a prude. I'm like, go be a freak all you want, but use your imagination. Because a lot of times, you don't even know, like, was that somebody's, if it's amateur stuff, was that somebody's private home movie? And their ex-boyfriend uploaded it to get back at them. Sometimes it's underage people and you're into entertaining things that you shouldn't and you don't realize it. Sometimes it's people being forced to do that, trafficked, whatever. So, on top of it, when they say the spirit of lust is real, it's a real thing. And when you're caught up in that, that's how people get so easily trapped into porn and sex addictions. So the devil is real. He's real busy at work these days, guys. Build your relationship with God. Build your relationship with yourself. Become real strong in your convictions and in knowing who you are. Work on healing yourself and protect yourself from all this shit out here. So, because it's real fucking important, and we really truly are in a spiritual war. And the devil is going to try to get to you by any means possible. And the more that you're addicted to something, the easier you are to control and influence, no matter what that addiction could be. So, yeah, I mean, we just got to protect ourselves. And listen to this too, guys, and I'll get back into the reading thing. People overcomplicate what spirituality is. At the end of the day, it just means I'm not being controlled by religion, because religion is, this is what you need to think, this is what you need to believe, this is how you need to act, this is what you need to do. Whereas spirituality is about your relationship with yourself and your relationship with God and your ancestors and your spirit guides. But first and foremost is you and God. And the more that you work on yourself, and the more you know yourself, the closer you become to God. And spirituality is all about exploring, learning things, making your own mind up. What do I choose to believe in? What spiritual practices do I choose to partake in? Rather than being controlled and told that you have to believe and think and feel a certain way, and if you don't, you're going straight to hell because you sinned and all that bullshit. So, yes, I do. Let me put it in the chat. It's in the pinned comment above too. But my name is the same everywhere unless you see it on a psychic line. And then if you do, they're about to get sued because they're not supposed to be using my name. But there's my Cash App, guys, and I have the same picture on my Cash App as I do on there. So, alrighty, but here, I was like, I pulled the cards out to see what's going on with Meghan and Pardi. They already were not okay. First and foremost, guys, like everything else in Hollywood, nobody's allowed to date anybody unless they're told that they can. Like, if I was a famous person, I wouldn't just, and I'm trying to think of somebody. Brad Pitt, for example. Me and him meet at a party and we're hitting it off and everything. If my handlers, aka my managers, my agents, the people who guide my career and make money off of me are like, no, we don't want you to date him. That's a bad look because everything that happened with Angelina Jolie, and that's going to mess with your, career, then I'm not allowed to date him. Maybe we can sneak around and be sneaky links, but like we're never going to be able to be public. We can't get married. We can't have a relationship because we're not allowed to. So that's why a lot of times, like, let me tell you guys, Lori Harvey is a contract girlfriend. There are people out here that are literally known for being contract boyfriends and girlfriends. Pete Davidson is a contract boyfriend. He's the go-to rebounds guy for when everybody wants, to create a new look for themselves when they got out of a relationship, or they want to be seen as like, I'm just having fun, or I'm still desirable even though my husband doesn't want me anymore. Pete Davidson's the fall guy. Pete, go be seen with her. We're going to pay you. It'll boost both of your careers being seen. And listen, it doesn't mean that sometimes these people don't end up liking each other. Sometimes they do end up turning into a real relationship. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they fuck. Sometimes they don't. But Meghan and Pardi are one of those we got set up to be together type relationships because it would, be a good look for both of them, boost both of their careers. So I already answered that question earlier, Toke. So they're waiting because honestly, both of them have been annoyed with each other for a hot ass minute. And this is the thing, that I was going to say too, is that where I was like, we have to look at these people. Because their relationship was giving me weird vibes, seeing as that this is supposed to be, your man that you guys are just so good together, blah, 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 blah. You love each other so much. But he didn't go to court with you to support you. We haven't seen the two of you around each other that, for a while now. It wasn't until the jury's deliberating that he puts out a statement, and he doesn't even say anything in regards to you specifically, and it was a protect all Black women generalized statement. So it was like, okay, y'all can't be that great Because I mean, if that's like my man, I would expect that no, your ass is gonna be fucking tweeting about me every goddamn day of this trial and support, and you wouldn't give a shit, and people would receive it well because they'd be like, yeah, support your woman, right? So they're definitely about to break up. They're gonna blame this, and remember, she said on the stands that her boyfriend's ashamed of her because everybody, quote unquote, keeps putting bodies on her. Girl, everybody's just admitting that they hooked up with you. Like, come on. But they're definitely just waiting for the storm to pass, and then we're going to hear that they split up, and I guarantee you they're going to say, Meghan's working on herself after all of this, and the stress of everything that went on just ultimately took a toll on their relationship. They'll still try to make it Tori's fault somehow. And it'll just be like, oh, he stressed her out so much that her and her boyfriend broke up behind it. But really, it's Pardi and her have been wanting out of this situation for a hot ass minute. It's just like, we can't do this anymore. Like, we get on each other's nerves. I don't want to. So, and listen, I said in my Patreon, I'm just going to repeat it over here. She could have done the right thing by just saying, hey, but again, this would require you having morals and some kind of a fucking conscience, and she doesn't have any of those. I was really drunk that night. We all were. You know, everybody was arguing. It was a blur. When I got up, I just turned around. I saw Tori, but you know what? Maybe just because he was the first person that I saw, I got confused. It's a blur. This situation was a wake up call for me to realize, you know, that I need to make sure that I drink responsibly in the future and not to a point of blacking out. This was really scary. I want to warn everybody not to, get out of control with your drinking. I'm going to go to trauma therapy and heal from this, but I just don't remember anything. And that way, you didn't say I lied. I was just drunk, and I'm never going to get that drunk again. You didn't put an innocent man behind bars for something he didn't do. And then you leave it on the law to prove their case. And if they can't, then he gets to go home. But instead, you still got up on the stand and lied and cried and played victim about something that you don't even, that man didn't do it. So I have no respect for her. I feel bad for her that she was shot. Nobody should be shot. I want to make that clear. Nobody should ever be shot. But you also shouldn't lie and put innocent people in jail because you want to boost your career and you want to get revenge on them for hitting on other girls in front of you. So that's why it's just like, I feel bad for the fact that you got hurt. I don't feel bad for you about anything else after that. That's it. And we are allowed to feel that way. You are allowed to say, I feel bad she got hurt, but I don't feel bad for her and her behavior and the way that she acted after everything happened. Because those are two separate things. Getting shot and then your behavior afterwards are two separate things. So, and people act like it needs to be this all in one thing. And I kept seeing people too, when everything was going on in the trial. Well, she got shot, so it doesn't matter if she lied, and Tori just should be guilty. He needs to be put under the jail forever because she got shot. That was proven that she got shot. No, the person who actually shot her needs to be held accountable. You don't get to just throw Tori in jail because Meghan got shot. If that's the case, I got in a car accident. I want Jay-Z to go to jail because of it. Those two things have nothing to fucking common if Jay-Z didn't run into my car. So it's like, we talked about that earlier, Daphne, and I have previous videos that I uploaded this week and last going over that. So, alrighty, let's move on to Diddy and Young Miami. But you can go ahead and drop your questions about them below. And I just want to say this too. Okay. Protect Black women does not have to come at the expense of Black men. We can protect Black women and we can also protect Black men. I think everybody can agree that the Black community is constantly under attack and still held back and still dealing with systematic and systemic racism. Black men matter too. Black men's mental health matters too, just as much as Black women's mental health matters and just as much as their lives matter. Because it seems like everybody just wants to suddenly be like, oh, but the person that's screaming not the loudest didn't care about Kelsey's Black life. She didn't care about Nicki Minaj's Black life. She didn't care about any of the other Black women that she's trampled over to get to where she is. It was just protecting me as a Black woman. And it's like, Meghan, I think you should have just said protect Megan Thee Stallion. And stop including Black women in your narrative. Stop using Breonna Taylor and George Floyd's names to benefit yourself. Because that turned a lot of people off too, especially when they're like, you don't seem to care about other Black people though. So I pray every day that Tori's mental health is okay. He's gone through a hell of a lot the past few years. The way that she wants to cry and be like, my mom died, Tori's mom died too, and nobody ever talks about that. So, well, exactly, and that's the thing. It went from Black Lives Matter to only protect Black women, and I'm like, Black men go through a fucking hell of a lot in this damn country. They're constantly being murdered. They're constantly being thrown in jail for things that they didn't do or being given crazy ass sentences for minor things. Like a gun went off and Tori's looking at 22 years. There's men who got caught with a joint who were doing 15, 20 years. So Tori's mom is dead, hun. And we're not talking about Tori anymore. We're moving on to Diddy and Young Miami. So if you guys have questions about Diddy and Young Miami, go ahead and put them in the chat. But we're moving on from Tori and Meghan and partisan and all of that because I do have to get off of here within the next half an hour because I have a client to call. So, Tori's definitely going to have a career when he gets out. I mean, Tori's got a pretty strong fan base. And honestly, especially once he gets this appeal and gets everything overturned, he'll be the one that sees the huge boost in his career from people, celebrating him and being happy that he's been exonerated and vindicated. He'll get the boost in his career that they thought Meghan was going to get in hers from this. But yeah, guys. In the meantime, if you do want to support Tory, go stream his music because he is an independent artist, so he'll actually get to keep the money from that. So that way we can make sure that he can afford the absolute best of the best legal team once everything is said and done. So, okay. And by the way, guys, talking about PR relationships, which, as I was saying earlier, okay, so, when that thing came out that Lori Harvey has NDAs that she makes people sign in her relationships, that's a standard part of the PR contract when you're dating somebody, is that you sign an NDA because you can't just get mad and then go call, Jason Lee at Hollywood Unlocked and be like, let me tell you all this shit about this person that I'm getting paid to date. So, of course, there's NDAs in it because it's a contract like any other business contract in the industry. So, I just wanted to say that part about it because I know everybody was talking about she makes these men sign NDAs, and I'm like, but why are you surprised? It's a freaking, she's a contract girlfriend. So, oh God, that is so nasty. Well, thank you to Millie. I appreciate that. The funny thing is, I found Millie because y'all told me that she was playing one of my videos on her channel, and so she's been a good support system. I was like, I've never directly talked to her, like I've commented on her stuff, but I was like, I have mad love for her for that. So, I didn't have time. I've literally been on the phone with clients all week or trying to keep up with what was going on in between with the whole, case. So I didn't watch. Also, the only Carisha Please episode I've ever actually fully watched was the one where Sweetie was on there. So I just saw the little clips that came out that she was, talking to G Herbo. So I was like, I didn't know that she said that on there, but thank you for sharing that with all of us, Hannah, so we can have nightmares tonight. I was like, that was the last thing that we all needed. And that's one of those things that is going to be one of those intrusive thoughts. Like, how you'll just be sitting there chilling and then all of a sudden you just are like, ew, gross, and remember something out of nowhere? That will be my intrusive, disgusting thought from now on, Hannah. But, like, I'll just be sitting there minding my own business, listening to the music, and then I'm just going to randomly be like, Carisha eats Diddy's booty, and then just throw up in my mouth and be so mad. Yes, bring your own cups to Miami's house for sure. Oh my God. Well, somebody said that she was asking, and anybody wants to, like, tell Millie I would love to read for her too. Even though I'm not going to take new clients next year, I will give Millie a reading anytime she wants it for free. She deserves it. I do not anymore. I used to be on Station Head, but thanks to Meghan, Stallion, and Roc Nation, I am not. You can get the full story on that in my Patreon. I was like, that's not one that I can fully talk about on YouTube, but I'll just say, can confirm that they mess with people behind the scenes. But I thought it was a new word for eating cooch. And I was like, these people really cannot be sticking their tongues at people's booty holes. And then I was like, oh, they really mean that. And I was like, oh my God. And this is the thing, y'all. Stop telling people on Instagram what y'all like, or anywhere publicly, what y'all be doing in your damn bedrooms. Because I've seen people in the shade room comments talking about, oh, well, I like to eat my man's booty and this and that. And I'm like, this has to be a joke or a fake page. Because I was just like stunned that people were like publicly saying this shit. And so I clicked on a couple of these pages because I was like, this has to be like a fake page. Oh, child. Oh, child. Fully, I have a full public page with pictures of my 3 children on it, pictures of me at Nurses Week at Westminster Chapel fucking nursing community. My bio says God first, nurse second, and mommy to 3 angels. I'm like, what the fuck? No, what is wrong with you? I'm like, we all know where you work, what your children look like, and you on the shade room comments just telling everybody that you like to eat your man's ass. Like, no, 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 no. Like, the crazy thing is that I'm just like, first of all, like, have you, that's kitchen table talk, as Wendy Williams would say. That's the kind of shit that if you're going to tell anybody that you do that, you tell your girlfriends that you trust in the privacy of your own home. You do not put it anywhere in paper, anywhere that it could get recorded, anywhere on the internet. That way, if Felicia decides that she don't want to be your friend no more and she tells anybody that, she's a goddamn liar. Show me where I ever said that. She can't prove it. But you do not go publicly start stating that shit everywhere. Your coworker is gonna be on fucking shade room comments and being like, "Oh my god, Felicia be eating her man's ass," and she's saying that on the freaking internet for everybody to see this. No, no. Like, you don't know what people will like use against you someday. Protect yourself. And you can eat your fucking man's booty all you want. I don't care about that. I mean, I don't want to go to your house and drink out of any of your cups if you do. But don't be telling everybody on the internet that you do that. Okay. But no, listen, that oversharing energy is also the devil trying to get to you. Stop trauma bonding with people. Stop telling people who have not earned your trust and their place in your life all kinds of shit about you that nobody should know. Because then they can use it against you in any way that they want, button the fuck up, and learn how to keep your life private. And it's a need to know basis, and you need to earn your way into the circle to have access to me and the things I'm really going through and know my real shit. So, well, Wendy used to just say kitchen table talk, and then, you have your girlfriends over to have a glass of wine in the privacy of your own home, and that's where you talk about your problems or tell your, unpopular opinions and stuff, but that you keep it in your circle and not out in the world. So, exactly. Keep it to your therapist. Don't let Susan from the coffee room know everything. Okay. So, first things first, because, like I said, I didn't watch the whole episode with G Herbo, but I saw the clip that was going around where he asked her, did you know about this baby before October? I guess the baby was born in October. At first, I was like, what the hell is he talking about October? We just found out like last week. And then I was like, oh, that was when the baby was born, huh? So, y'all know I'm slow. So, anyways, she didn't. I mean, as much as she tries to be like, he's whatever. What does she say? Like, oh, like we're honest with each other and we tell each other everything and this and that. No, the hell they do not. He expects her to tell him everything. Who are you dealing with? Who's over at your house? Where you been? But it's like, I'll tell you what I need to tell you, and that's what you're going to get to know. So, the baby been over here listening. She did not know. She was pissed. Spirit saying that she got a bigger allowance and a gift as an apology and a keep your mouth shut and play by the rules. Listen, what's crazy is that yes, they've slept together, but Spirit's saying they don't even be fucking on each other all the damn time like she tries to act. So you know how, because I've seen little clips here and there where she tries to act like, oh, like we just be freaking all the time and it's so good and this and that. They're not. They haven't slept together in quite a while either. We hooked up a few times in the beginning, but now it's more of a business relationship and just, you know, you've got the podcast on my channel. I promote your shit. You promote mine. We're friends, but, you know, and you pretend like we're dating or whatever online just because Diddy has a type, which is Asian or Blasian women, number one. Just like Chris Brown. You know, that's his preference, is the Asian Blasians. And number two, he likes to keep him a little harem. Okay, but it's like Miami's the famous public one that he wants to be out and seen with. He was doing the same shit when he was in with what's her face, Cassie. Like she was the main public girl, but he had a hella other girls behind the scenes. That Gina girl that Miami was fighting with, she was around during Cassie years. So he always keeps him 3, 4 in the background and then has one that's more well known that he wants to be seen out with because that's like a good look for him. And Spirit saying because he has such a reputation of number one, people were saying he was gay again. Number two, people said that he ruins business, partnerships and people's career. He's trying to rebrand himself because look what he's doing. Delion, it's owned by a black man. That's why you should buy it because a black man owns it. Oh, you need to watch Revolt because a black man produces this stuff. So that's why you need to watch it. I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. He's trying to rebrand his image. Too many people were coming out the woodwork and being like, did he ruin my career? So he's like, let me give Carisha a little bit of a career. Not that she didn't already have one, but he's trying to give her a separate career outside of the City Girls. And it's really about image branding. So, but they're not locked in the way that people think. She's definitely not his favorite the way that people think. And she's getting paid for this. And it'll continue until she starts making demands on him. And this is the thing that's funny is that in the beginning, he liked her way more than she liked him. The second that she caught feelings for him, he lost all interest in her. Because it was fun for him, like, oh, you don't like me like that, and that made him real excited to chase after her. But then the second thing he realized, like, oh, you have feelings for me, like, he had no more interest in her and didn't care anymore as much. So, I read for tons of Haitians, girl. Uh, I was like, probably like 20% of my clients are Haitian. Um, so, anyways, yeah, it's the whole I want what I can't have, but the second that I get it, I'm not interested in it anymore. That like all fuck boys like seem to possess, and Diddy's just an overgrown fuck boy when it comes to his romantic relationships in that sense. And it's all about his ego, his image, trying to portray certain things. And, allegedly everything in here is for entertainment purposes only because I got to cover my butt, you know. Allegedly, he's bi and he prefers men's over the women. So, but now it's like, see, this is the thing. He's activated Carisha's trauma. Now she's in the position of, and this is what narcissists do, I'm going to convince you to pick me. I'm going to convince you to love me. You're going to see that I'm better than all these other hoes that you have, and you're going to end up picking me. And even if you don't solely be with me, I'm going to be the favorite. I'm going to be the one that you love the most. So he's completely, activated her trauma center. So now she's motivated and trying to hold on to get him to fall in love with her. She's just going to end up getting her heart broken. He's going to end up dumping her, and it's going to blindside the hell out of her. Because she's going to make way too many demands on him of, I want you to just be with me. I want to be in a relationship. I want to spend more time with you. Come over. I'm going to cook you dinner. And she's going to start being needy, and he's just going to be like, and then on top of it, you're going to see me out with all these other girls. That's going to piss you off. You're going to keep fighting with certain females that I have around. And it's going to cause, a bunch of problems between them. And he's just going to be like, this isn't worth it, and move on. Also, Diddy's going to have another kid with somebody else. And again, it's not going to be with Carisha. He's got 2 more kids that he's going to have before he's finally done having kids. So, thank you guys. Listen, I believe in God. I pray too. I pray every morning for all of you guys. I just want to say that. I pray that only people that I can truly help come to me. I pray that God guides me to give you guys everything that you need. Before I get on each call with you guys, I pray for you. And I pray after I get off the call with you. That's why I said nobody prays more than, I feel like I pray more than the Pope does each day, to be honest with you. But let me tell you something, you guys. Get comfortable praying, especially if you're trying to get deeper in your spirituality, develop your relationship with yourself, with God, with your healing, all of that. The cornerstone to everything is prayer. So get comfortable with praying. And you don't have to drop to your knees, clasp your hands, close your eyes, say the rosary 185 times in a row. Sometimes my prayers are literally, I'm walking out to my car and I just say, please, God, let me get to everywhere I need to go today safely and return home safely, and bless everybody that I encounter along the way. Thank you. Amen. And I'm, obviously walking and looking out and make sure I don't get hit by a car on the way to my car. So I know, Saint, I'm just saying though, but I'm talking to God all day long, and it makes you feel so peaceful. It makes you feel like you have some control in your life. And it's just, I don't know, like I feel like so like God's my friend. Like I talk to him all day long. Like he wants to listen to my problems and he wants to give me blessings, and like we're homies. So it's really, really helpful to get really comfortable praying and to keep doing that. Oh, I used to also, Sana. And listen, I grew up going to church. I was, Catholic was. So I was just like, I used to sit there and get in trouble because I would say things like Jesus is my friend, or I'm friends with God, or whatever, and they'd be like, you can't say that. I'm like, why not? Like, I like talking to him. He's my friend. I used to sit in my playhouse outside and just talk to God by myself as a little kid. And I didn't even know what I was doing because I was a little kid, but I was just like, I'd literally be sitting there like holding my doll, just talking to God. So it definitely helps. That's why when people are like, how can you be reading on people's problems all day? Talk about the crazy things you talk about on Patreon, talk about all these people's bullshit and still be in a positive mood. I'm like, because I listen to a lot of Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson, and I pray all the time. And that's really what it is. So, well, thank you, Happy Bird. But yeah, it was just like I pray for everybody constantly. I think that, it's important to do so. So, anyways, guys, I gotta wrap it up and get off of here. I've been on here for 2 hours anyways, but like I said, I have to call somebody in a few minutes. So I love you guys so much. If you did want to book your own personal private reading with me, psychicbellalove.com. Use coupon code WINTER, all in caps, for $15 off. And Jesus isn't real, KLD. And if you're in my Patreon, you would know that. But anyways, if you did want to join the Patreon, it's patreon.com/psychicbellalove. It's $6 a month for the regular tier. I post 6 days a week. If you want the option to request readings, it is the higher tier level. You can follow me on Instagram. I am Psychic Bella Love. If you want to send a blessing to my Cash App, it is $Psychic Bella Love. All of my info is also pinned at the top, and my second channel, which is launching the first week of January, is Love Yourself with Bella Love. So thank you guys. If you did not already, make sure you like the video on your way out. And I will see you guys next week with Dario De Niro so that we can be prepared financially for, all of the inflation kind of stuff that we may have to deal with next year, so that we can still be prosperous and beneficial. And I'm excited for you guys to meet him. He's one of my absolute best friends, and he's my own personal financial advisor, so you guys will love him. So make sure you guys come prepared to learn, and we're also, like I said, after we talk to him, we will do whatever bullshit, the celebrities have pulled that week. And in the meantime, Merry Christmas if you guys celebrate, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.